Thank you for joining us for 10 Minutes with the Artist, an episodic series that explores the professional practice and the personal vision that guides artists. On today's episode, we're very proud to have Christopher White. Christopher exhibited works from his series, a collection of the contents of people's wallets, at the Memorial Union Gallery during the Hysterical Sublime Exhibition. Christopher's work explores the small collection of objects that we keep with us on a daily basis by revealing the contents of individuals' wallets. His work often touches on identity and what we hold sacred. I'm Anthony Ferris, and this is 10 Minutes with the Artist. So Christopher, welcome to 10 Questions with the Artist. I was talking to this viewer the other day, and he said that when he was looking at your work, he sort of tried to relate himself to your pieces. He was trying to figure out who he was, whether or not he was like one of the collectors or maybe like a minimalist. He was trying to relate himself to one of your wallets. So I was kind of wondering, what sort of wallet are you?
That's actually what I wanted with the project. I wanted people to look at the project and think about what their wallet would look like. Because with this whole idea of this project is that it is a caption of what that person is, and it's just the things that they collect over in their day-to-day lives. For my personal wallet, I do keep some cash on me all the time. I have a few credit cards here and there, and then some of those token kind of like lucky mementos that you kind of keep on you kind of thing that don't really have any meaning, but to you they do.
Well, the wallet is a pretty ultra-personal space. It's this sort of intersection between commerce and sort of cultural activities and then your sort of personal narrative. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that sort of that intersection and what that wallet and that space sort of means to you.
For me, especially with being an intimate standpoint, they are very intimate because they'll always see your wallet, but they don't know ever actually will really go through it. It's kind of like the whole idea of you don't go through a woman's purse. So that was actually a problem that I hit with this project, was that trying to find people who would be accepting for you to actually go through their wallet and look at, because even alone just for small mementos that make someone has the picture of their child or anything like that, you have a massive amount of information in a wallet. You have credit card numbers, some people have bank statements, some people have all these different things in there that you can actually easily steal someone's identity with those ones. And that was a big thing with this one, that I had to try to keep those identities of those people still safe, but yet not lose any information that you could partake from it that would be of information to that person.
So with your relationship to the wallet, I was kind of curious whether or not you did any research on the history of wallets and how people sort of connected with those sorts of...
Not really, just because I didn't think it was necessary to do background history of stuff. I know, I guess, especially with wallets, that can go all the way back to ancient times, just because people would always have coins and stuff with them. I would think it'd be more recent that, in more of the informational age, that a lot of these information pieces start being added into those kind of wallet pieces.
Yeah, that idea of the billfolds and when you're going and traveling, you're just taking a certain amount of things with you, and that's one of those things that you make sure that you put on your list. So sometimes people keep things that are very personal, very personal, and I was wondering if when you were looking through the wallets, if you had to edit anything out because somebody didn't want it included.
For the most part, as of super personal stuff, no one was really against that. The only things that I actually really did edit out was there were a few people who did have when you first get a bank account, they give you your account number, your routing number, those sheets in there, and some people did have those in there, so I did edit those ones out. And then some other people, the only other things I edited out was content. Some people had receipts beyond belief that anyone should ever have in their wallet, so I cut some of those ones down just because to fit it in a frame would make the images ghastly and huge. The way I actually kind of got over that, though, was that I ended up doing a layering effect. So with this one, especially with credit cards, I overlaid the cards on top of each other so that they would cover over the numbers, and then it would just be the last one that I would have to edit. Same with one person, he had so many receipts in his, but it wasn't enough that I needed to edit it out. I layered those as well, just so you can see, like, oh, there are receipts, but you can't read each one individually, kind of thing.
That's pretty funny because the wallet is made to be a compact space, and to have something that's just overwhelming is pretty funny. The choice of the background that you chose, can you talk a little bit about that?
I did mess around with the background. I had the first ones that I tried doing was just a plain stark white background, and then I tried doing some textured backgrounds one. I did stuff like carpet flooring, and then I did obviously with the end I did the wood flooring with those ones. With the carpet one, I found that it created kind of like a pattern texture in the background, just because it wasn't super in focus, and then so you kind of like put it together in your head, and you get like this pattern in the background. So that was a little distracting to me. The white background I actually did like, but it was too much. It was again very strong. What I wanted with the white background was that it kind of became neutral, and then you were more focused on the objects themselves. So I'm kind of like the happy medium was the wood flooring, that it gave it like a nice pop texture, but then like you look at it, you're done, and then you move on to the actual information that's being portrayed in the pictures.
So you deleted the personal numbers, but those personal numbers are indicators of an individual's identity within this bigger sphere. So I was kind of curious why you made that choice in your body of work to edit out something that really spoke to that sort of personal nature.
For me, it was definitely just for their security, because with what I took from this project is basically a giant sheet that you could go out and steal this person's identity like within minutes, because you'd have their license numbers, you'd have all the credit card numbers. With the credit cards, obviously you'd have there's the number on the back, but still with that one, most of those don't even register that you need those, so they can still steal this information. And I guess I'm more focused on the fact of like what kind of cards they had and what those things are. So like you can look at a credit card and it's a credit card, and some credit cards don't even have the numbers on the front. So it was just more of like like what the object was, and not the actual information of what that particular card defied to that person.
Okay. Was there a consistency that you found throughout the different wallets, both male and female, of something that everyone kept?
There, obviously you do kind of have some of the stigmas, like women definitely more have like the longer wallets that they put in their purse, so then they can store more stuff in them, and then with that, one of the largest image is of a female's wallet. But there's some of the images that I actually cut out. There was one girl, she had just the tiniest little wallet, and then she had like 2 credit cards, and then her personal ID card, and then that was like it. And for the most part, there's like kind of like a happy medium. One girl, she has like 9 credit cards, and that's because she's a mom. She has 2 kids, so that was a nice, interesting with those ones. Some people you'd see would have a lot of money, and so no credit cards, and some people would have like more credit cards and then a mix of money, and there were those wonderful kind of mixed moments that you see with those ones that were really interesting for the whole project.
Yeah. So now's the time that we sort of like to ask a couple of creative questions about like sort of your creative process.
Sure.
So what time of day do you feel like you're most creative?
I am a night owl, so I do get a lot of work done at night. I'm not a morning person, so I couldn't be creative in the morning if I tried. But for me, it is actually kind of hit and miss. Like I can work all day on something and not get anything, go to bed, wake up in the morning, and then that next day I can have the most creative day ever. And then I could go straight for like 2 days like that, and then it's like gone. So it's almost kind of like you fill up your creative bucket, and then you like work it out, and then it's like you fill up your engine, you work it down, and then it's done. Instead, you have to recharge it afterwards.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good metaphor, sort of distilling your time and your energy and information. Do you listen to any type of music or radio while you're working?
All times, music.
Okay.
It's more like what the feeling at the current moment is. I have Spotify, and they have Discover Weekly on their stuff, where they'll take like what the music you have and like play it through those, and it'll range from anything between alternative to pop to all these different things. So as long as I can listen to it and it actually has a good beat, then I normally like it.
Is there anything that you're reading right now?
Not currently, no.
Okay. And so what do you think that the most challenging thing about your medium is?
Photography always does kind of have like this stigma that you basically, anyone could do it, is kind of what the kind of people say is like you have these people who have iPhones and they go out and they take these wonderful sunset pictures and people are just, wow, that looks really cool. And then you go and you're just like, yeah, I took these ones too. And they're like, oh, okay. So the biggest thing with photography is kind of trying to show, or basically just coming up more with an idea for your work. And then I will also admit that there is a lot of luck in photography. You kind of go out, you can have a perfect idea in your head and try to like take it, and then it doesn't work. And there are some times that I'll go out and I'll just like randomly be like, oh, I'll take a picture of this, and then I'll work it, and then it ends up that it's these 3 pictures that I took end up going together in a triptych or something like that.
Yeah.
And so there is some luck with it, but then I'm not going to automatically say that I haven't gone out and tried to work something. Like, especially with this project, I had an idea in my head, and I went out, and it was difficult to try to make it work, but in the end, I finally got something that I actually did like, and it just took time to work it out.
And then maybe the last question will be, what's next for you?
I would actually love to stick with data. Data was a really interesting thing to look at because it does kind of give you like a parameter to work with, and then I just love the idea that you can have a string of numbers and then that ends up taking you to a place to take pictures of that location, and the only reason why you went there was because of those numbers.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Christopher, for your time. And I'd also like to thank you for your time and your interest in the professional development and creative endeavors of our students here at North Dakota State University. So thank you. And for everyone here at the Memorial Union Gallery, keep creative.